Hi, everybody. I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing Don't Worry, Darling.
Ooh. Harry Styles, Florence Pugh. Mm-hmm.
The drama, the scandal.
That's probably the most interesting part of this movie is the drama around it.
Is not the movie at all.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Mm-mm. It sure isn't.
You want to tell us what the hell we watched?
Sorry. Yeah, I'll go ahead and read the synopsis for us here.
The synopsis.
The synopsis is, and so spoilers, if you want to watch this trash ass movie, go ahead. But I am going to spoil it. Sorry. So, Don't Worry, Darling is an off-brand version of a Black Mirror episode about the dangers of dating an incel. We follow Alice and Jack, a happily married couple living their best lives in the idyllic town of Victory. Things are better in Victory, as long as everyone follows the rules. The women stay in town where things are safe, while the men work on building progressive materials on the outskirts. However, all rules are meant to be broken, and Alice does just that. Convinced that she saw a plane crash, Alice wanders outside of Victory, determined to help. Instead of finding a plane crash, she comes across a strange building with mirrors for windows. After coming into contact with it, Alice can't shake the feeling that things don't feel quite right in Victory. As her perception about this once perfect town begins to change, Alice must decide if discovering the truth is worth losing the life she has.
Ooh. Chilling.
So spooky. Anyways,
Let's get into
I'm excited to talk about the drama.
Ma'am,
Ooh.
please.
Somebody spit on somebody. Somebody's not together anymore with the other person. People don't like each other. Wow.
Okay.
A toxic work environment.
So life. Literally just everyone else's lives.
That could have been the movie, to be honest.
on a smaller scale. Oh, that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I'd watch that.
I would.
You would. You're that kind of person.
I like the drama.
So, Don't Worry, Darling. Obviously, releasing in 2022, rated R, and it was an hour and 30 minutes. It is a drama, mystery, and thriller.
I saw somewhere they said this was a horror.
No,
I don't
this
claim
was
her.
not a horror.
I don't claim
I
her
was
as
never
that.
scared. I was
never
concerned.
scared. I never scared.
I was never scared. Never me that. The director was Olivia Wilde, and let's get into the ratings a little bit. So IMDb gives this a 6.3 out of 10.
The first 6 we've seen in a while. For
first,
a
yes.
new release? Yeah.
Yep. So not great, but that's still a 60%. It's not horrible. Rotten Tomatoes. So the critics give it a 39%, but the audience gives it a 77.
That's a big disconnect.
So critics are
big
not loving
jump.
this, but your everyday regular folk are not hating it.
Right.
The cast. So the very, very famous, beautiful Florence Pugh plays Alice. Harry Styles plays Jack. Chris Pine plays Frank. Olivia Wilde is Bunny. Kiki Lane is Margaret. Gemma Chan is Shelley. Nick Kroll is Dean. Sydney Chandler is Violet. Katie Berlin is Peg. Asif Ali is Peter. Douglas Smith is Bill. Timothy Simmons is Dr. Collins. Ariel Stachel is Ted. And Steve Berg is the trolley bus driver. So
Love that man. He said, I don't work enough.
said,
I don't
"Ma'am,
get paid enough to be doing this.
I'm just supposed to drive this bus. And so I tried to look up about this movie, but the only thing that I can find was the drama surrounding this film. So I really couldn't find any like really good, and they might be out there, but just me browsing, I just couldn't really find a really good interview about the movie. Like I found a couple interviews with Olivia, but she would just kind of talk about the movie, but not in a sense of, the behind the scenes meaning, just kind of how it was to work with people and stuff like that. But there might have been an interview out there that I missed. It was a lot of just the drama. So that was slightly disappointing because I really wanted to hear what was the basis of this film. I think I pretty much got it, but I just wanted to hear Olivia kind of explain it a little bit more. So she might have, but I just didn't happen to run across one when I was just kind of looking. But she did say in a Variety interview, she talks about feminism. So I think that's kind of something that you can kind of get from this film. Yeah. She said, if you notice, only the women come in the scenes.
Oh. Come how?
What's a better way to say that?
They arrived where?
Yes. Only the women in the film are getting places, are getting pleasured in some of the sex scenes. Because she says other movies tend to focus on the men and the men's pleasure, and women don't really get that. I kind of disagree with that. I feel like in a lot of films it focuses on the woman, like, I don't think we really see the man unless it's a movie, like a romantic movie for women. I feel like a lot of them, it shows a lot of the woman's body and her face and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I fully agree with the fact that it, because she's like, it only really focuses on the men. I'm like, I don't know. I've seen a lot where it's overly focusing on the woman. Now, is she having a practical experience in that type of scene? No. Sometimes, like, what the hell? Like, she's...
That's what I was thinking too. I was
So
like,
maybe-
to go into the simulation thing, like, I don't know. The scenes were way too long for anybody to look like they're having a good time. Like the scene where she's on the dinner table, Florence Pugh, she's just constantly knocking shit off. I'm like, if you were really having a good time, you wouldn't be watching things drop. You would be enjoying the moment. But instead, she's like, man, let me push this off. Let me push that off. Yeah.
It was a lot. But it confused me because...
Kiki, where'd she go?
We don't know. Sorry. But it confused me because in this, it's like she wanted to show some kind of women empowerment, but I'm like, the whole film is not that. So wouldn't it kind of be the opposite? Like, he would be getting his and she didn't get hers? Because I feel like if you're going to play on what you're trying to do with the film, that doesn't make sense, because
I see what you mean.
a big part of this movie is the broken relationship between these two and the deception on the husband's parts,
Right.
and their expectations for women. So to me, it kind of didn't make sense that you would want the women to just have an overly good time, because then it's
And
like,
just, I don't even know if Florence Pugh, like I said, it didn't even look like she was having a good time. Every time we saw her doing something, she was like kind of looking bored. I don't know.
Yeah, when she was looking at Frank, she was like,
She said,
get me out of here.
I don't
Which was
like how
you.
this man was looking at me.
Yes, she did. She didn't say anything. She's like, you like that? I was like, oh, I don't know what type of film this is, but I guess, but it was a little like, some of those scenes were a little bit drug out, I think.
They
like, we get it.
were.
That she getting hers.
I
and-
know. I'm like, move on.
But okay, but just a little bit behind the scenes on that.
Behind the scenes of what? The sex scenes?
Behind the scenes, behind the motives.
Oh, okay.
There we go. She also says that she wanted to create a paradise, but clarifies this is, and these are quotes, paradise is defined by the largely monogamous, misogynistic media and world that we've grown up with.
Okay. Sounds great, Olivia. Thank you. Thank you for your participation.
So I mean, I guess it's kind of the base of the film is traditional roles and expectations and men wanting to go back to when women just stayed in the house.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
That's
to me
fine by
because
me.
that's perfectly practical.
Oh, yeah. That
You know,
too.
it's not something that you need to simulate. We'll get into that. That's just kind of what she was saying about it. And then I found something from Collider.com and Don't Worry, Darling, original script ending. So there's an original ending that didn't get put in this film. So the original ending was Alice gets trapped back into the simulation after she escapes. Like, her and Jack somehow make it out, but she gets put back in. And she ends up in a psychiatric hospital. Bunny then confesses to her that she knows where they are and that she, you know, her whole spiel. And Bunny offers an alternate escape room or door or something. And then Alice slowly walks towards that escape.
Oh,
And then
so
the
either way,
movie
she
ends.
still escapes.
Yes. So that one just, I think, is a little bit more of a tussle when she gets out that gets put back in. Sorry,
Speaking
my
of
cat.
tussles.
Speaking of crazy. Just kidding.
Psychiatrical ward. Here we come.
Here comes my cat. So there's that. A little bit of an alternate ending there.
Interesting.
And then this isn't funny. But apparently Chris Pine's character Frank was based on a real person named Jordan Peterson. I have never heard of this man. Have you heard of Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Maybe I have, but I just didn't process. I've heard of Andrew Tate.
Right.
Can you maybe explain? Because all I got is that he is a Canadian psychologist who, kind of in Wilde's words, legitimizes the incel movement. And from, it seems like maybe he gets a lot of negative hate because of what he kind of talks about. Do you know any more about that? Because I
think that like sums it up.
Okay.
I think he does a lot of stuff about men. He's like, what about our men? I don't know. He's a weird voice too, but he's interesting. He has some interesting takes. I can say that much from the clips I've seen, which have been turned into memes.
Okay. So in comparison to like Andrew Tate of the world or somebody,
To me, he's
maybe,
more
where is he?
men centric. Jordan Peterson, like he talks about men, not really like what women should do or like what women should tolerate. It's more of like, well, men, this and this and this. Like we should stick up for our men. Like plumbers save more lives than doctors. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So he's not as
To me, I feel like Andrew Tate gets a lot of flack because of what he says about women. I don't know if they're misconstrued views or not, whatever. But he like says a lot of things about like, oh, well, women should just tolerate this because of our biological blah, 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 blah. To me, Jordan Peterson seems to want empowerment. But like, okay, I'll say this. I don't know shit about either one of them because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. So if I'm wrong,
okay,
that's because I'm a dumb bitch.
Listen, that's why I was like, I couldn't really, it was an aha moment. I'm like, that's where Chris Pine's character came from.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe.
But I didn't, we'll get into it, but I don't think I was getting that these are incel men.
Well, I said incel in my synopsis, so I guess I kind of got it. Well, from Harry Styles' reveal as like an American man.
Get it. So I get that. But Chris Pine's character to me wasn't giving incel to me. I mean, I guess maybe he's not. He's not an incel.
Empowering
them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I guess I was getting a slightly different perspective on that because if you think about it, all the men in this world do actually have wives and girlfriends.
Right.
So to me, these aren't like incel men. Harry's character Jack has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's just kind of bummy and he sucks.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like another branch of incels.
Is this another branch of incel?
If you want to say.
How are you an incel within a relationship?
I mean, if you're still not having sex and you're still involuntary celibate.
That is probably worse. Imagine it being right there and you still. She literally calls you you're her boyfriend and you still can't get it.
That's why they're so angry.
That is a whole nother level. And that, you know what, it's coming clear to me now. Not that I don't think these men suck in this film. Like they clearly are bad. But I guess I'm like, when I'm thinking of like the incel, like specifically, I'm kind of thinking, because there's a difference between like a loser boyfriend who sucks and then an incel who like hates all women or starts to get this hatred of women in general.
Right.
They literally cannot get a woman at all. There's nothing, you know what I mean? So to me, I'm like, it didn't really match up because I'm like, they try to make him look as horrendous as possible. But I think it would make more sense to me if Harry had kidnapped her randomly.
Yeah.
And then had done this, and then that would have kind of made it even more of, if that's the angle that they were trying to go, like these are the incels. I'm like, I don't think quite there. But imagine if they were just kidnapped women and they had been like brainwashed with new memories. But then why not just have a simulated woman?
Right.
Why do you need the real person to be in the simulation with you? I mean, I'm sure it's another level of like control and power, but I'm like, I feel like they could have got away with this.
If it was
just simulation. Like imagine they don't even have to keep the body alive.
Exactly. Like, that's a lot of work. A lot of extra steps.
A lot of work. But we can get into the logistics of this program. Because I get it. Yeah. It's a movie. It's symbolic. Yada hooty hoot.
Right.
But that's what I was saying. That's why I was like, oh. Because Chris Pine's character didn't come off to me as like incel-y. I mean, he has a wife. He seems to be almost the opposite of an incel. I was getting the vibe he was kind of like a hoe. Like he looked like he might be the one running through all the girls in the town. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was giving me another type of evil. But I wasn't getting incel. I wasn't getting like for the men. I feel like he didn't even care about the men. Like to me, he seemed like he truly wanted just power. I wasn't getting he wants women to be in their place. I think he was getting he's building a utopia, and it was almost like he was using these desperate men. Because even in the beginning, you have the one, I can't remember his name, but he was like, the new guy had come in and was like, oh, I can't wait to meet Frank, and he was like, don't you say Frank's name or some stupid stuff. So it was like he's using these like really insecure men who think he's a god, and he like builds off of that. So that's why I'm like, I wasn't getting incel from me. He was still not a good guy, but does that make sense?
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I guess that's how you could describe Jordan Peterson or Andrew Tate if you wanted to.
I don't know these people. They
they're
might get all the women.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, I don't know. It's interesting because like Andrew Tate has like a whole course where he's supposed to be helping these men improve with their lives, but that could also be seen as more of a scam. So like instead of really helping these people, he's building off the backs of them, kind of like what Frank was doing in this movie.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
See it's
so he's more of a not moocher, but kind of takes advantage of the people who think this way because it brings them power or success. Like I get that. So we can move with that.
Was there anything else that you gleaned, or do you want to talk about the drama? Did you learn anything about the drama?
Well, I've already heard all about the drama. I don't feel like I care to say anything about it because I think we've all heard it. Kind of give us a
rundown.
A movie was made. Actors were hired. Olivia Wilde was doing this. She had an actor she liked, Mr. Shia. Somehow he didn't work out.
Right.
There were lies, maybe not lies, about why he's gone. Florence Pugh did her thing. She did really great. Harry enters because Olivia and Harry are in love.
Right.
So Harry plays the main character and then is okay. And then there's drama because poor Florence is giving the act of her life. And then press release. Then Harry says, it's a movie like that's a movie. Everybody says, ha ha. And then
Chris Pine looks like he's falling asleep or being held hostage.
Chris Pine looks like he's in a simulation.
Boy, literally.
Harry spits on Chris.
Yeah.
Or does he? They seem okay. And scene.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so underwhelmed. I'm like, I just didn't. This was not good drama to me. You know what I mean?
I liked it.
You
Somebody
did?
spitting on somebody?
But
That was crazy.
He didn't spit on him. That's the thing.
It kind of
Everybody
looks like he did.
It looked like it, but if you
I
really
would say like 75% sure he spit on him.
no, because one, why? If you're gonna spit on somebody,
why?
Two, Chris
Harry.
Pine's reaction was not of that. Like he did kind of do something, but he apparently had sunglasses in his hands, and when he looked down, it looked like he had just realized he was holding his sunglasses. Like it looked like there was two
Who?
different.
Chris Pine or Harry
Chris
Styles?
Pine. He like had sunglasses that he was wearing earlier, and apparently he looked down. He was like, and then he like pulled them up. Like here they are. Like I don't know. I was just like, it looks like it, but I'm like, clearly he didn't do that because I don't think Chris Pine would literally sit there. And then they were like laughing and talking later, like 2 seconds later. I'm like, there's no way he spit on him. But you know what? The internet is bored and is hungry for another sensational. We just talked about this in Nope. We got to turn everything into a damn sensation. Something that looked like a spit that we all knew in our hearts was not spit. Because come on now, that literally makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
That's what he did. He said,
No. This is what Jordan Peele's trying to say. We take everything, we try to make it a spectacle. It's not a spectacle.
It was more interesting than the movie. Ooh.
Anyway,
If we want to talk about spectacles.
so that was the drama. Was there anything else I'm missing?
I don't think so.
And then everybody thinks the whole cast hates Olivia or something. I don't know, because in every
Yeah.
scene they're like, look how they walk away from her, and everybody's trying to overanalyze people they've never met in their lives. So
That's
I
been
just
a bit much. But I don't think that Florence and Olivia are on good terms from what it looks like. The rumors of what Olivia was talking about, like she called her Miss Flo. So if you call me Miss Flo, like, we fighting. That's not my name.
Well, usually be Miss K.
I'm not from Progressive, bitch. Isn't that her name?
Yeah. Flo, where's she been at?
She's still
Ever
doing
since
commercials.
cable TV died.
Ooh, true.
Let's move along. So Kaylee.
Overall thoughts?
Well, yeah, tell me your just overall thoughts about this movie.
I think it made for a good trailer. For a good movie, not so much. I like the idea of it. I think that the trailer did a good job of making it seem more suspenseful than how I actually felt. I felt like I was also trapped in there for 10 years with Alice, and it was not a good feeling. So I'm just kind of tired of like the plot being men are bad and scary, even the ones that you have in your own home. Exactly, Kiara.
She's got to go. She's done.
Overall, I just didn't have a good time with this movie. I'm actually pretty disappointed because it looked a lot more intriguing than how I actually felt. And I thought this was Olivia Wilde's like debut film, or like directorial debut, but she did Booksmart, and that was pretty good. So she kind of fucked up with this one. But
I didn't see that one. You saw that one? Okay.
It was pretty funny. Maybe she's stronger at comedy than at thriller, horror, suspense. Anyways, what were your overall thoughts?
Overall, I don't think I thought it was bad as you thought it was bad. I did like the concept. I think that this would have been a really good short film.
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of drawn out scenes, but not necessarily needed. So I'm like, this could have probably been a really good like 30-minute, 20-minute like short film.
Yeah.
But I think Florence Pugh did a really good job. Acting, I mean, this is her thing. She does the thriller because she was in Midsummer, and has she done any other kind of thriller?
There's
type
another
of-
one that didn't do well. It's called like
Okay.
Malevolent, something like that. Not
Okay.
Malignant.
Like, I love that. Yes. But yeah, I thought Florence Pugh did pretty well. Like I believe her. I feel her. I think she does really good at. This is definitely one of her strong genres, if you will. I don't think Harry Styles did that bad. I obviously
do
think
that
that he
good either.
is. I didn't think he did as bad as I thought. Like in general, his chill acting, like his regular acting to me was pretty spot on. Like when he was doing casual scenes, when they were having like the love scenes where they're just kind of doting on each other. Like I thought he did pretty good. I just think that, of course, the more intense scenes where you're really required to put a lot of emotion and a lot of raw emotion in there. I think he definitely is still a newer, but he's still a newer actor. I mean, for him not really acting, I didn't think he did that bad. Do I think he was maybe the best choice for this character? Because what was required of this character, especially towards the end. But yeah, I think maybe another actor probably would have made it a little bit of a stronger movie, but I don't think that Harry like broke the movie by any means. And I don't think that he did that bad of a job. Like I think he should definitely keep acting. I think he should get better. You don't think so? I think he should. I don't think he's bad.
I think he's fine. I think he should stay with acting and music videos. I think that's his strong suit. Where he's singing along to his own words.
I think if he kept going and got a little bit more practice and some more experience, because he was in that war movie. I never saw that
Dunkirk.
one,
Apparently, he didn't have any lines in Dunkirk.
Oh, then never mind. I don't know why I thought he was the main character.
I don't think so.
I
saw somebody's review of this movie, and they're like, "Now I know why Nolan didn't give him any lines in Dunkirk." I was like, "Oh, so
wasn't that bad." Okay, but yeah, but overall, I thought it was an idea. Thought it was okay. I just think I think the ending didn't bring it home for me. I was just kind of like, okay. But I think I'm so, anytime they do a simulation movie on me, I'm like, why can I get into logistic mode and it never makes sense to me. There's no reason why you have a simulation where people can walk out. Like they can walk out. Like I get it.
Well, I feel like that should be the biggest thing you should do. You leave and enter on your own will. Like I feel like that should be the biggest thing.
I say if we're evil.
Oh, okay.
We're evil here.
If we're making it like a prison,
it just seems like the fact that you guys have to have little men running around and capturing people, like y'all don't have the coding to this.
Loompas.
Yeah, she shouldn't be able to go anywhere. Why is she running? She should be running in place and like can't go anywhere. I don't know. Like I just get into that. I'm like, why are they chasing her? Why do they only have cars? Why are they chasing her on foot? Why is there no coder who's just coding stuff and she can't get to wherever they need? Because I get it. If you're gonna have the men coming in and out as they want to, they need somewhere where they can kind of get out of the simulation. But
if you're trapping women, it shouldn't be that easy.
Yeah, for her to just walk off into the desert and y'all like try to go get her.
Yeah.
But she seemed to be running around just fine. So, but that's in any simulation movie. And then of course the whole, if you die in here, you die in real life, which doesn't really make sense to me because why? What, you should just be kicked out.
Yeah.
And then you have to maybe reset. Or even, I don't know. I'm like, if your mind is totally in a simulation, you are at mercy of that simulation. So why would you be able to just pop out of it if you go somewhere? I'm sorry. If you pop out of it, I don't know. And that's probably me being too picky, but I just, and I know the movie has to have a plot and they have to have the action, but I think that to me, I was like, it just seems like they're doing too much. And then, they're just, no. And just didn't make sense to me. But other than that, I mean, the twist, I was trying to figure out what it was. I think there was a lot of scenes of her gazing and looking and maybe one too many psychological scenes.
Yeah.
Because, where she kind of is, when they're about to go through something and they're just like, what is that? And I'm like, ugh. And then like 10 minutes later, they're just still in that scene. And so I think it was a little bit drawn out, but I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was bad. I was curious as to what was going on. So I will give it that I was still intrigued. I'm like, where are we going with this?
That's good.
But those are
I guess we can talk about the simulation itself. Let's talk more about that because, I just don't really understand why we have to make our simulation. I guess it's higher stakes. If you die in the game, then you die in real life. Sure. But it just doesn't make any sense, like you said, logistically. Like, why am I going to die in real life if I'm not really here? It's a simulation. So I think that's a weak point for any simulation movie. Let's just make it where it's like real life. If I die in The Sims, I don't die in real life. God forbid. I would have been dead in a lot of tragic ways.
And why is the Frank, why is he not immune? I don't know. It was just it was too easy. Like, this was definitely a first prototype because I was like, all this stuff that can go wrong and not y'all having, and the fact that they entrusted this is a very illegal, top secret thing they're doing. The fact that you don't have everybody that isn't aware they're in a simulation, that they don't have them in custody physically. Like, why do they not have a science home base or a lab where they keep all the bodies that they need to keep? The fact that they're entrusting these incel men who clearly are not, from what they're showing, are not doing great in life and sitting around. You're entrusting these men with the bodies of people you are holding captive. Like, why? They should be like, it should have been like if Harry signed up, they would have kidnapped Florence's character or Alice for him, kept her body so that she wakes up, she's already in the facility and she can't escape, and expose them.
Yeah.
And the fact that all the liabilities, like they'd be able to give her IVs and fluids and keep her actually incubated so she could be there. Like, he literally had her in the bed rotting, and he's like dripping little water in her mouth. Like, to me, I was like, why would they have them just freedom out like that? And yeah, just kidnap your own wife and put her under. Don't get caught. I'm like, this is a bad idea. So I don't know. Once again, I'm getting into the logistics here, but I think it took me out the movie because I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You're entrusting these incel men that are horrible and bad with this big secret of kidnapping their spouse, their significant other, and taking care of their body. Because if they die in real life,
then
I'm assuming they die in the simulation.
Yeah.
Florence was not going to make it 2 days.
Not at all.
Alice was sitting there. She getting bed rot. I know he's not feeding her. Because is he feeding her with what?
Yeah,
we saw him dribble water.
And
She's going to die so soon. So I'm just like, this doesn't seem like a very properly run facility as we
not
can
at all
see.
If that's even the plan, because I don't really know what Frank wanted, because then he was talking to Florence Pugh's character, or Alice, and he was like, I wanted someone to challenge me because that's how I make great things. But why would you want someone to break the simulation, to escape this simulation, and then tell on you? Like, I'm just kind of confused.
I didn't get that either, unless he is so cocky in his power that he likes to mess with people and play with people, and maybe he gets bored and is excited when he has to outsmart somebody. But I was a little thrown off, and the sexual undertones with him and Alice, like when he catches her and Harry together in his room and they're doing sexual stuff, and then he watches her and she watches him watching her, and then no one says anything, and then
until dinner.
And I'm like, what was that moment about? That was odd, because Alice to me was at the point where she would have been embarrassed. Like, it's not like she was this was so far in the movie that she's doesn't care anymore, and I'm looking at you. Like, it was very odd. So I was like, okay, are they having an affair? Like, are they doing something?
That's what it made it seem like. And
then it didn't go anywhere, and that's why I thought, like, in my mind, I was like, he might be trying to do something with these women, or like maybe he has some kind of another motive that he doesn't tell the men, because I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. And it was just so I thought that character didn't really go anywhere, because I thought he was going to be a lot more sinister.
We should have gotten a lot more Frank in his like plan, because it does seem like there is some kind of undertone of what they're doing to women. So it doesn't make any sense that it would have been so easy for her to leave. Like, I think your idea of them having them at some kind of facility, so just in case they do escape the simulation, they still have them in custody so that they can put them back in there if they need to.
Or get rid of them.
True, or kill them off.
Now you got to fly to New York or wherever they were at and go find her and get her. And I don't know. It just was it seemed like Frank was a very smart man, and the whole setup was very unsmart to me. Even at the end when his wife just kills
this
him.
movie in the nutshell, to be honest.
I was like, it was setting up to be very smart, but then it was just not smart. Like, I was like, this doesn't seem like a very highly technological. Maybe that's the whole point, is that these men think they got it, but they don't. But to me, I thought Chris Pine's character was going to be a little bit more in depth, a little more deep, a little more interesting, and he wasn't.
Yeah, I just feel like Frank's character wasn't really fleshed out, and I'm just kind of confused what the men were doing. Like, what was the point of the promotion? What was the point of Harry dancing around on stage? Like, it seemed like there was an insidiousness with Frank. And she's bored. There seemed like there was like some kind of insidiousness with Frank, but we didn't really get there. So I'm just kind of confused as to, like, it made it seem like Harry, or what's his name, Jack, didn't have any control over his body whenever he was dancing around, because he's like, make him spin again. So I don't know. It's just very confusing. And I wish there was more backstory as to why he had victory in the first place. Like, why is there a simulation where people can be there not on their own terms? What's the point of that if you're not going to go anywhere? Because like, it's a theme with all these husbands. It seems like they're trapping their women, except for Bunny. If we're going to make it a simulation, let's make it like a really like grand theme of like some kind of crazy ass man trying to capture not just women, but men, so he can do all the things that he wants to do, which is what? I don't know. That would have been more interesting for me.
That would make more sense, because like we talked about earlier, it seems like the head of the incels seems to just be gaining from the incels and profiting off them. So it would make a little bit more sense if the head guy was really doesn't care. He's like, I don't care what these men are trying to do.
Yeah.
This just gets him in here. It gets him paying me money.
Yep.
Gets him in my power. And to me, that would be a more interesting twist. So it's like not even about like the whole misogynistic undertone that I think was
And
really
I want to
being
talk about that
pushed.
whenever we can.
Oh, we will.
Because
I think that would have made more sense because to me that's
I
really
agree.
what more is happening. I truly think most people don't think this way, including men. I think most people understand that women are working, we bringing in money, this and that, and you do have men that do think that women should be in the home, all that other stuff. But in general, I think that the men who are truly like just eating out of the hands of people like Andrew Tate and stuff,
yeah.
these would be the people. These people would be like gullible to me, and these are the people that would be in here. So I think that would be a good point. That I think Frank's character should have taken a little bit more of a power play, and he just killed by his wife.
Yeah, and then she's like, "It's my turn.
It's my turn." I'm like, her turn to what?
to do the
work?
same thing."
I want to work
She
now.
said, "Back to the real life."
I don't know. I was just like, wait, what? And why can he be killed? He should have like an unkill. Like if everyone else can get
Exactly.
killed, that makes sense.
But him,
Because maybe it keeps him in
yeah.
control. But him, I'm like, or people that you can't, like the doctor, like why are they able to get killed? I don't know. Unless they're saying it's just unavoidable. And then, sorry, we're gonna move back. Why the heck did Jack get a promotion?
Yeah.
What was his promotion? They said we're moving you up unless you get a job at the company. Maybe in real life, they're
In
like,
real
we're gonna
life,
move you out
maybe.
your bed. We're gonna get your wife a real bed, a real what do they call it? A stretcher.
Right. A stretcher.
Yeah, they put you on a stretcher in the hospital.
Oh.
Anyway,
I just don't really understand the point of that promotion scene at all, except to be like, oh, there's higher stakes for Florence not to fuck shit up because he got a promotion, and
Yeah.
if she keeps acting like she does, and they're gonna lose their being life. What? Lose their way of life.
status.
That's what, yeah. So I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird, and that's basically what this was. It was a lot of weird scenes, and there wasn't a lot of tension being built. At least on my half, I didn't really like feel any kind of tenseness. I wasn't suspensed.
it was
that's
just
the right verb.
drawn out
It was
stress for the character, and
for
I just
Florence,
was like,
yeah.
I was like, can't wait till we figure out what's going on. If we could just hurry through this middle part here.
It took a while to get there.
It did. Or maybe I'm just like insensitive because I feel like a lot of the I almost bit my tongue. I feel like a lot of the psychological thrillers, half the movie is them going crazy or
Like that.
spiraling. Yeah, and it gets so boring to me because I feel like there's only so many scenes, and then I can tell when the scene is here, and then it's a lot of them staring, it's a lot of them crying, you know what I mean? It's just, and then they snap out of it, it wasn't there, and then it happens like 6 times, and I'm like, ugh. So I don't know if I'm just getting impatient, but that style of storytelling with that, it's just like, and I get it has to happen because you're getting into their mind of there's what's going on in their head, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm just like, oh, here's another scene where it's going to be another 10 minutes. Or
The scene that took me out of it the most was when she was wrapping her face with the saran wrap. I just, for whatever reason, to me, it felt like it was very half-assed acted to begin with, because she was just like, I'm like, okay, this isn't even scary. Like, how am I supposed to feel in this situation that you're just going crazy? We saw that 10 times before. I don't know. It just, the psychological scenes, yeah, they drug on for too long. There's too many of them, and it just lost its impact right after it kept happening.
Yeah,
So-
it's just like, here comes another one. No, Alice, it's not there. Ugh,
Alice, don't do that. You
figured out it
can't
wasn't
breathe
there.
like that, silly.
no,
Like,
silly, you need help.
girl,
but-
take your medicine.
Yeah. I wish it would have played more into her personal life as a doctor, because if it didn't, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like she all of a sudden just started going crazy, you know, or whatever. And I'm just like, what? To me, there was no actual catalyst. It was just like Margaret was
Yeah.
going through something, and then she was like, you know, and I get it, but I don't know. It just seemed like I don't think that was enough of a catalyst to me.
Well,
I
the
don't
catalyst,
know.
I guess, was like the plane crash, which was, first of all, what are you going to do when you get there? You have nothing but a purse. So you're not saving
Yeah.
anybody. Second of all, where the fuck the plane come from? Because nobody used any kind of helicopter plane after that scene.
That's why I was
So
also
what was
confused.
that?
I'm like, why did they have the plane in the? Was it a glitch?
It was
And
like
she
some
just
kind of
saw a glitch.
It was some kind of tie-in with the little kid that went missing, because kids are not real in this universe, very much
Okay.
like Doctor Strange. Margaret's son had a little plane whenever he was walking through the Forbidden Land and disappeared, and then that's what she was holding on to, was the plane. And then we see the exact same red plane flying, but why?
Was that him?
Was that Chris Pine's character trying to like make things like more interesting for him?
Yeah, that's why I was like, why would they even have that? Is that a glitch? But they never say it was a glitch. They never ever explain it. They just saw her in a plane, and she's more observant than me. And I'm like, I would stop watching as soon as I saw the. She was like,
yeah,
it was just like she was
that odd.
Too intense. I guess maybe in the moment it just felt very off, but I don't know. It was just very. Like, it was very intense very quickly. Like, to me, I'm like, do they not have planes in this world? Yeah. Why would that be weird? Yeah. I guess it crashed, but it didn't even look like it was crashing to me. It looked like it just went over the mountain. Listen, I'd have been on my merry way.
Anyways, time to do some shopping.
I was like, unfortunate. Someone should, Yeah, and why am I running out there in my little dress? I'm going to go get somebody.
Dress and heels and a little purse. What are you going to do?
I don't know. It just felt like all of the scenes of her starting to spiral. I didn't truly feel like she got to that point yet.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't getting why, that's why I was wishing they tied it back to more of her personal life. Because I feel like there was no inkling of anything in her personal life until we see the literal flashbacks. But even after we see the flashbacks, there's still no connection. Like, it would have been nice if we saw her kind of, like, for instance, with Margaret falling, like if she had gone over there and like went into doctor mode, and all of a sudden you see this very, like, if she was like, everybody back, I need water. Like, if she started kind of going off in a very medical way, and then maybe she would kind of like, I don't know, like, I wish it was more of that instead of like, look, a random plane. Now she's weirded out because what was that? I don't know. It would have been a lot better to me if they actually tied in her personal work life.
I see what you mean.
Like, that is what's kicking her out of it, is she's slowly starting to remember. She's the muscle memory of like her doing doctor stuff and maybe some of that. And then that might have been more of a catalyst, because it was just like a random plane and it crashed, but didn't really. Yeah. It wasn't.
Maybe that was them trying to tie it in, because like, what do doctors do? They help people in situations.
Maybe.
So maybe that's what it was.
Okay,
because it also doesn't make any sense, because we literally just talked about how you're not supposed to go out there, and when you do, you get in trouble. So then for her to be like, oh my God, that plane crashed, I gotta go help. It was like, why?
I was like, I don't know why you're here. Why are you here thoughtfully? Like, to me, I would have just at least went back to town. Yeah. What am I going to do in a plane crash?
Y'all got police there?
Because then I have to do what? Drag them back? Like, what? We're going to both die in the desert.
Exactly.
So I think I was just a little bit like, her motive isn't making full sense to me, but if you're going to do some kind of a weird plane crash or something, make her react different. I don't know. I'm like, she's really going out there in her little dress and heels in the desert. I'm like, it's going to take her like an hour to get there. She has no water. I'm like, what is she? It just took me out of it, but I'm sorry. I'm probably being too picky. But I really was wishing they would tie in her actual life a little bit more, and maybe
because there was really no hint for it, to be honest.
No, and even like I said, even after they exposed it of like, she's a doctor. That was it. She was just a doctor. And it just a high power woman that the man couldn't handle. Like, that's just all I got. And I was like, okay.
But what's weird is like, just go get a job. You wouldn't have to put her in a simulation if you just got a job, Harry.
But they're incels, Kaylee. They're sad men.
Right. They're
can't bad. Do shit. They can't do anything. Blah, blah, blah.
But then like, that's what he ends up doing anyways.
Is working his ass off so she can stay in the simulation.
Yeah. So it's just like, what's the point? Like, I don't know. Like, if you could get a job because of a simulation, you could get a job just so you can have this for real.
It was a struggle point.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And I get it, couples have issues, but I just wasn't connecting. I was like, wait, what? I don't think that I wasn't feeling the connection that Harry's character was so far gone that this would be the result.
Yeah.
And I guess they can't necessarily show all that, because that, it'd be a long ass movie. But even
we could have spent more time in the real life than we did in the simulation.
I think so. We could have had a little bit more background, because it was just like, all these men wish their women worked in the home. I'm like, okay, so to get a higher paying job
or a job period.
I mean, I guess with Alice's character, she may not want to work in the home anyway. But to me, I'm just like, this simulation is not unattainable.
Right.
You can very well provide for your wife and have her be a homekeeper and keep the house. And if that's what you want to do, I guess I just wasn't the whole simulation for this. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It just was very like, it seemed like a lot was happening just because they needed it to just happen. And all.
Yeah. And this whole movie was very surface level, but it tried to be smart and have like a commentary about men and women and how things are not great right now.
Another like, it's just another bad men movie.
I'm tired of watching movies like this.
I'm tired. And this is coming from somebody who
hates men.
Because I get it, but it's like a lot of movies, it's the big bad man.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh no, the misogyny or whatever. And I'm just like, I think if it's done correct, it's done well.
I think Barbarian did a good job.
Yes, Barbarian did a really good job. It's like, it is a very delicate balance between being whiny and almost making it a mockery of, I think, what you were trying to do versus actually making a good story about making comments on life. Because I do think that it is a thing right now that there is more of a question of like women's roles. Because if you think about it, women have not been in the workforce that long.
Right.
Or the modern workforce anyway. Women, of course, worked 1,000 years ago. They did stuff. But you know what I mean? I think we came from a society where women didn't work. And I don't even know when women started working. It was probably like not even a lifetime ago.
Yeah. Who knows?
Like the 50s.
History, I don't
Like
know her.
when they actually started working besides being a secretary.
Whenever it's history, I don't care.
I don't
but when it's
know.
her story.
Golly. And that's a wrap. But I do think it's kind of the thing where the roles are changed. So women and men, aside from strength and maybe a few characteristics, just personality wise, I don't know how, whatever, all the difference between men and women. But it's kind of like we're equal now in the sense of like we can both get jobs. We can both do this and that. So I do think there's a section of the population of men who are finding that they are not needed maybe, and they want to feel needed. They want to feel like they want their wife to do this and that for them. So I do get that this is a topic. So I'm not saying that I think that the movie is wrong.
Right.
It's just I think that it's not as straightforward as kind of what this movie was implying. Because I do think it's a topic. I mean, you have the whole thing about Andrew Tate now and this guy that I haven't really heard of, but he's out there, and I think other people, and they just kind of like men just group think in it, and they can a section of men. I think most people think that these guys are, especially like Andrew Tate. I don't think I know one person in real life who actually agrees with what he says. The only people I see agreeing with him are online. Yeah. So I could be wrong, but I'm like, I don't even know guys who agree with him. It's just kind of funny. They think he's funny. They think it's stupid because it's just entertainment. But it just wasn't done well.
Not even close. It feels like she had concepts in her mind of what she like wanted to see, but it didn't add up to an overall message or cohesive message or anything. So it's just like, yeah, let's put it back in the 50s, 60s or whatever, whenever women were oppressed for real. Like, I don't know. It's just,
it was very obvious, or it was just like,
it's been done before, and it wasn't done. It didn't do anything new besides having like Florence and Harry Styles in it. So if you want to see them do something sexual, then sure, you can watch this movie. But there are so many movies that talk about this same exact topic in a way better way, in a way interesting way. And there's a lot more interesting simulation movies that you can watch. Shit, watch the fucking Black Mirror episode where it's like a video game. That one's pretty good. This was just a waste of time. She tried to make it interesting and seem more interesting than it was. And that's what pisses me off the most, is when something makes it look really good, but it's full of nothing. And it wasted my fucking time. I sat there for 2 hours waiting for that shit to get interesting, and it didn't. And I'm trying not to be upset about it, but I'm tired of watching stupid ass movies about men being bad. Fucking move on. We've been knowing. Move on. I'm just tired of it. This movie pissed me off because like, Florence Pugh is really talented, and y'all wasted it on this dumbass fucking movie where she just the whole fucking time. Do something different. Olivia Wilde, you should be ashamed of yourself for this fucking bullshit ass movie that I had to watch.
Wow.
That's what really hurts my feelings, is that like it tried to be smarter than what it was. Like it tried to be like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about women and men and blah, 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 blah. But y'all didn't accomplish shit with this movie. Y'all thought y'all did something. Oh, and that's exactly how I felt.
Damn.
Chill.
I think there is a trend of movies where I saw somebody on, I think it was TikTok, and they were talking about how, I think they use Marvel as an example, but it was like, if you look at the Marvel shows and the movies, an overwhelming amount of them, it's like it's the bad man. It's the man that's bad, and and if there's a woman character who's bad, she tends to have like a good reasoning for her badness. Like she has kind of like it's like they're evil, but if you really get into the reason why, it's because of this, and they actually have a good reason. But yeah. So they're just talking about that, and I do think it's interesting how I think it has turned into that with a lot of stuff. Like it ends up being the big bad man, and it's getting old to me. I'm like, here we go again, because I feel like it just takes away from like depths of characters, and it just reduces things to just the big bad man with the eye patch, and it's so boring. Like there's no real motive.
No.
He's just bad because he's bad. Like that's just the thing. And I'm like, you can only go that route so many times. Like, why is he evil? Like, I don't know, just get into more of the psychology. Like, it just makes the movie a little bit more interesting. And I just feel like it just keeps defaulting to that a lot with a lot of these movies. And it's just not interesting. It's boring. It's not a new story. So that's why I was hoping Chris Pine's character had a little bit more to him, because at the end I was just very disappointed because he gets killed. And I was like, that's his character?
Yeah. So
what else is there? He can't just, this is the big bad man who wants his wife and all the other wives to work in a home. Like, I'm just, what?
But for why?
No, but why? No, you have to say why.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that
misogyny, that's it. Move on. I'm disgusted. If anything, this movie set us back 100 years.
Because honestly, that simulation looked great. Girl, like, this is not making me want to be here.
Right.
It's making me want to be here. Mm-hmm. You telling me, listen, that's what I'm getting. You're telling me there's a simulation where I can be at home. I can have all the best love scenes. I can be at the pool. We're drinking. I can drink when I'm pregnant. Like, listen, I'm cute. I'm wearing all the clothes. This was great. I'm like, this is making me want to do this. I know that's not how it works, but I'm like, this is sounding great. I think people underestimate the amount of women that will be okay with being taken care of. I think there's a lot of women who are okay being taken care of. And working in the home is not easy.
No.
So that doesn't sound that fun to me. That's why I want to be like Florence Pugh's character. I want to be like Alice. She said, I don't see kids in my future. I see lavish luxury. I see downtime. I see me time.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm just like, it's not that bad. The bad thing was,
was pretty
kidnapping,
right.
And, holding people hostage. But honestly, I'm like, this movie's making me want to be in the home. But I think there are a lot of women who would, like in real life. I think it's this thing of all women want to work.
I don't want to work.
We don't.
I hate this shit. This is terrible.
All the men who believe in
going to work
roles
every day for how many years?
Up. All the men stand up. The ones with jobs. There are plenty of men out there that have good jobs and that are okay with their women staying at the house and taking care of the kids.
As long as you don't expect too much, because I'm probably not going to do well at that either.
Well, see, that's where it
cooking dinner, cleaning the house, no.
Have you heard the conversations? It's so funny to me because honestly, I think everybody should be able to do what they want to do. If a woman wants to be in the home, great. If the man wants to be in the home, great. There are stay-at-home dads because the woman is, makes the bread in the family. I don't care.
No.
But I literally keep seeing these think pieces, and I'm like, what's the think piece? Do what you want to do. There are men who will do that, and there are women who will do that, and like just find one. Like, why is this conversation? And like this one guy or this one argument is like, men claim that they're like, well, what can a woman do? I can pay for sex. I can pay for someone to clean my house. I can pay for someone to raise my kids. What do you bring to the table? And I'm like, wait, what? You can't afford that. A surrogate?
You a broke bitch.
I can't afford that. Like, that don't make sense to me. Why are we fighting each other?
Yeah.
Why pay when you could not pay?
Right.
Let's talk about that. Let's come together. There's all these think pieces. And I'm like, shh.
We're getting so...
Find someone who works for you.
We're arguing when there's like... Yeah, when there's availability of that happening. If you wanted to bring in that amount of income where you can, supply that kind of lifestyle, then women will line up for that. But y'all want to complain about how women don't want to do that whenever you broke. So
you're so poor. Women are gold diggers. How would you know?
Right.
How do you know? Oh.
How would they know?
How would you know?
You wouldn't.
You don't even know what one looks like.
Ooh.
They haven't looked your way. You can tell what color eyes she has.
Oh.
She never looked you in your eyes.
Got 'em.
Shut up.
Golly.
I never get that. There are plenty of girls who work hard, and there are plenty of women who want to work hard in the home. Let them do that. Make the bread. That's the thing. The lifestyle they want, they don't have. So they got to bring everybody else down, I guess. Women should be in the home. Okay. Well, and men should make all the money. And fix my car. Why am I taking my car to get the oil changed? Jokesies. Right. Why am I putting gas in my vehicle?
Yeah.
Jokesies. Anyway. So.
Right.
But yes. There is a bigger conversation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think we need to have it again.
This movie did not contribute to anything.
There's enough podcasts. There's plenty of podcasts that you could just talk this through about.
Or just go on TikTok and you can see a lot about it on there. Anyways. Yeah, I wish that this was more than what it was.
But I hope I mean, I did like where it was going. So, you know, if she does try to do another movie or something, you said her first one was good. I mean, not every movie's going to be a hit. So I'm like,
No, yeah.
I think that if it wasn't a bad second movie, you know what I mean? Like, I think if she does another one and continues, I think it could be really good because I think the cinematography was really good. I
It
think
looked
that
very nice.
It looked
yes.
nice. Like, it's there. It just needs the story to flush out
Yeah.
a little bit better. But, okay.
But yeah, what do you rate this movie, Haley?
2 out of 5.
Oh, okay. That was fast.
I already thought about it. It's a 2 out of 5. It's not a 3. It's not a 1. I'm not going to give it a 1. 2 for the bones. But
2
you
for
know,
the bones.
it just had the structure.
Oh.
I'm too intelligent for you.
Yeah, it went right over
The
my
structure
head.
gave it a 2. Like the bare bones of it, where it was going was a 2. That's all I can give it because it just didn't get anywhere from there. We didn't go anywhere with that.
Not
But
at all.
what do you rate it?
I'd give it a 1.5. So
Okay.
not a complete 1. It's just, I feel like I got slapped in the face with this movie because it seemed a lot more interesting than it was. Maybe that's what happens when you judge a book by its cover.
So the rule of thumb is think the worst,
Yeah.
even if it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
The worst.
I also wish that it was like she didn't break down into hysterics so easily. Like I wish she was just smarter. I want somebody who's a little bit smarter that's getting like psychologically tortured, but she's like, oh, I know what's going on.
Like someone who plays the game. Like they start to realize, all right, they're trying to make me crazy. All right. You know, they kind of twisted a little bit. I don't think I've ever seen that. And then, because why they you're keeping us hostage. I'm like, shh,
Yeah.
they're going to kill you. Like, why would you?
She didn't even catch the hint. She
They
didn't read
don't-
the room.
It's like reading the room. They always want to, what is it? Like call them out.
Yeah.
And try. I'm like, ugh. So I agree. I do wish sometimes they would write a character that might be a little bit more cunning about it and not as like, and maybe that's the point. They're going through it.
I don't
They're
care.
not.
I don't want a realistic psychological thriller. I want somebody who's strong, will of minds kind of battle.
A man. You misogynistic pig. How dare you? She wants to see a man in the main role. How dare you?
But if you like to see women in the home, you can watch us being in the home on Instagram at Haley and Kaylee.
Yeah.
If that's your thing. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast where you can check out some more of our content. And we also have a website at Press Podcast where you can check out our podcasts. What else do we have?
If you're watching us now, we have a YouTube at Haley and Kaylee. You can watch all of our podcast videos here, as well as some other extra videos we do for fun. We also have a email. presspodcast@gmail.com. You can tell us movies that you want us to review, what you thought about the movies we did review, if they're good or bad, and just let us know your thoughts. And you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, or anywhere you watch your favorite podcast. You listen to them.
Exactly. Yep. Mind tricks, psychological terrors on you. But let us know what you thought about this one in the comments below. Were you disappointed? Were you happy? Were you excited to see Florence and Harry make sweet, sweet love? Because I sure wasn't.
It was unprovoked.
It was too much. I'm like, why is this man always wanting to have sex? It's because it was all in a simulation, so he was never really having sex.
He would never get tired.
True.
He could do whatever he wants.
What that mouth do?
He changed
It
his
don't
whole
get tired.
nationality. They say, sir, how tall you want to be? How,
Right.
you want to be? He was like, listen.
Not him being British in this one.
He
choosing
said,
to be
hello.
British.
I'm like, oh, brother.
Hello there, mates.
Yeah, no wonder he's feeling like the man in there.
He really was. But next time, since it's getting spookier, the season is changing to October, which means it's spooky season.
It is.
So we're going to be talking about, what is it called? Wendell and something.
Hold on.
Yeah, what's
we are
the
more
correct
prepared
name?
than this. Wendell and Wild.
Wendell and Wild, and we're pairing that up with Hocus Pocus 2. So we're doing a double feature next time. Ooh. Hey guys, Editing Kaylee here. So apparently Wendell and Wild isn't out until towards the end of October. I'm not really sure what happened. I could have sworn it was already released, but apparently that has changed. So I'm not sure what kind of video you're going to be getting next time, but it will be spooky. So come and join us for some spooky movies. Ooh. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So get spooky with us, and hopefully we'll have some other fun treats and tricks for you.
I like your hair like that. It's super cute.
You think so?
Yeah, the side part and the laid front.
You like it?
I do like it. I was like, it looks so cute. Contrary to your personality.
Exactly.
Happy Halloween.